Oh, well, Saints win. Saints win. So looking at the Saints got their first win, Drew, what's the best way to harness that emotion and effort? Because it is one game, but hey, when you win, you want to build upon that. But go ahead.
No, look, you absolutely do. The biggest thing coming out of that game is we got 5 turnovers, right, defensively, and we took care of the ball in offense. So that's going to win you a heck of a lot of football games. I think offensively, I think the pass play to Shaheed, backed up, 87 yards?
Yep.
You're not going to see a better throw right in stride to, one of the fastest guys in the league, and he kind of does the rest. So, that was a huge momentum shift, obviously, at that point in the game. I think it was the first play of the drive after they'd kind of punted us back in there. So, look, there were so many things that you saw that were just really, really encouraging. Look, the more I watch our offense, man, I really like what Kellen's doing. I think we have a ton of variety in the things that we do, both in the run game, the pass game, the quick pass game, the play action, the screen game. So I think that just gets more fun to watch, each and every week. Obviously, Spencer's getting – I think even more and more comfortable, coming up with some big throws. Obviously, his athleticism allows him to extend plays and even take off and run and make plays. But I think just defensively, too, with all the hype that the Giants came in with, I think to come up with the plays that they came up with was just great all the way around.
Yeah, Drew, Spencer's protecting the football, and if you'd have told me before he played in the Giants, he'll probably get sacked 2 or 3 times. He didn't get sacked any. So that pocket awareness, getting rid of the football, and you look at Rattler right now, finally getting that monkey off his back and got a win as a starter. Now, that's one accomplishment, but where have you seen the growth in his game, and what should he be working on now?
So much of playing the quarterback position is just being a problem solver. Look, not every play is going to be perfect. You're going to have breakdowns up front at times. You're going to, you're going to have penalties that put you into tough situations. So much of playing that position is like knowing when to take chances and maybe when not to. Like, it's okay to punt sometimes. Knowing where and how you can extend plays, I think is definitely a skill to have. But look, at the end of the day, taking care of the football, it just gives you a chance to win in the end just about every single time. Even if the game hasn't gone the way that you want, as long as you're not putting your defense into compromising positions. Look, the team's going to have a hard time just driving up and down the field on our defense, right? It's only when you make critical mistakes, you give them short fields, you give the other team momentum that, that stuff really bites you. Otherwise, you're always going to give yourself a chance. And I think when you look at our defense, they're only going to get better as some of these young guys have more of an opportunity to play. But look, I like our pass rush. I like our linebacking core. I like, we got youth in the secondary, and yet we also have guys who have made some plays, and created a bunch of turnovers here over the last couple weeks too, So all that stuff is really, really encouraging. It just makes you feel like, we're going to get better each and every week. But at the quarterback position, let's make sure that we're not putting our defense in compromising positions, and we're always in a position where we're solving problems.
Well, Drew, we got to do better, though. We moved the ball, but that's one thing we weren't worried about with you. We could score in the red zone. And I think what could help Spencer Rattler, but he struggled in that in the offseason, OTAs, minicamp, and training camp. He'd be moving the team, getting a few first downs, and whether it's against us, but would struggle in the red zone. And I know that could be a quarterback's best friend. Just how about if we're in the red zone if we can run it in? Because, defensive backs, they squat and all that. And one guy that might help us run it in, and everyone loves Taysom Hill. Here you are. You're a future Pro Football Hall of Famer. I don't think you mind when Taysom Hill came in because he'd help you win. And to be ultimately, that's the team goal to win the game. But what's the best way you would use like his multi-dimensional talent like Taysom, like him? Why do you think he's such an easy guy to root for? Drew, if you're one of your daughters brought home Taysom Hill in the future, I think you'd think, look, I've raised my family the right way, but you probably think you hit the lottery. I don't know, am I bamboozled by Taysom, or is he too good to be true?
No, man. He is exactly who you think he is. There's a reason everybody loves him. All his teammates of course, the fan base. I mean, I think you know how I feel about Taysom. One of the best teammates you could ever ask for, one of the most selfless players you could ever ask for. What he's meant to our organization and all the different roles that he's played, and just what a big part of he's been of the team. So I know that was an emotional time for him to, coming off of that injury, to come back and to be able to have the contributions that he had in the game. And I still, to this day, don't know why he wouldn't get from 7 to 12 snaps a game at the quarterback position. I mean, as a defensive coordinator, is that just not a nightmare for you?
Right.
Because, half the time he's going to carry the ball in some sort of, misdirection one way and he's going the other, or some sort of quarterback power where now we just have an extra blocker. And then at the end of that rainbow, you're going to have to tackle this 240-pound dude who wants to run over you. So like that in and of itself is highly effective. But now throw in the opportunity for him to push the ball down the field, which he is so good at. He completed a seam route in this game, but we've seen him over the years, launching a post, launching a deep over route, whatever it might be, where they're chunk play opportunities when he's in the game at quarterback. So for a defensive coordinator, it's an absolute nightmare. And like I would say for a guy like Spencer Rattler, a weapon like Taysom Hill could be his best friend.
Yeah.
Where this guy comes in, he throws the defense off balance, whether he's coming in to fulfill another position, like an H-back or a tight end or a slot or a running back, and then next thing you know, he's taking a snap. It just adds another dimension to this offense that I think would be highly, highly effective, as it has been in the past when, he was doing it for me.
Now, Drew, when you look, everybody wants to be the man. I'm just saying, the running back. I see a number of teams, whether, college or the pros, running back by committee. And it looks like the Saints are trying to get back to a legit running back tandem. We all know about Alvin Kamara and Kendre Miller, how he's played the past couple of games. What are the keys to making that type of backfield that you can keep them both happy and spread the wealth, so to speak?
Look, there was plenty of those combinations, right, over the last 20 years. Going back to Reggie and Deuce, right? That was like the first thunder and lightning.
Right.
I mean, really, that was what there was literally tags that we would attach to plays that would denote who we wanted in the game, and it was thunder and lightning, and then that kind of evolved to, it was Pierre Thomas and Reggie, and then it was Darren Sproles and Mark Ingram, and then it was Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, and and now I think that this could be that same type of 1-2 punch where, look, both these guys can run between the tackles. Obviously, Kamara does so much as a receiver and as a receiving threat outside of the backfield. But I think having that 1-2 punch is always beneficial for those guys, not just to give them a rest from time to time, but man, they really start to feed off each other. I saw that probably more mostly with Alvin and Mark Ingram. Just because I think they rooted for each other so much too. Like there was a bond, there was a brotherhood there. Very similar. Like if I was to point to another combination that's probably the best in the league, it's Montgomery and Gibbs up in Detroit.
The Lions,
right?
Yep.
Well, yeah, Sonic and Knuckles, right? They've got their own little persona, But I think when two backs take pride in that together and they really feed off each other, I think you get the best out of everybody.
Now, Drew, looking at the Patriots coming to town, boy, they had a big win against the Bills, division rival. And Drake May, I think he outplayed the MVP and Josh Allen. And the question I have for you, what have you seen from the Patriots quarterback, that being Drake May, and what stands out about him, would you say, as a single caller? Because, boy, he's really, I think Coach Vrabel's really embracing having him to be the guy, to be their franchise guy. And I want you to comment on Drake May. And how do you see the Saints, what do they need to do to beat a team like the Patriots right now? Yeah,
you know what? The Patriots are the one team I haven't watched or just analyzed a ton of film on. I've done it with a bunch of other teams, just getting the all-22 and really analyzing them. But that's on my list of things to do this week, because I think just from a distance, I watched the game on TV, I watched some highlights, and then I watched the post game interview with Drake May, and I think the first thing that comes across is like the guy's got a maturity about him that's pretty unique for a young guy. He comes from a family of athletes. You know, I know a brother who played basketball at North Carolina, and he's got another brother who played collegiate as well. And so, like, he's got, come from a family of athletes or a dad who was a coach or something like that. Like, there's just, it feels like you've just been growing up around it your whole life, and it's almost like you always envisioned yourself being there. And so there's just kind of a calm and a poise to you, which it seems like he has. I love Vrabel. He was a hell of a football player. I think everybody has a ton of respect for him. He's a hard-nosed, kind of comes from a hard-nosed football lineage, and so certainly he's trying to instill that, in this day and age there in New England again.
Yep.
But just like you can see, you feel like they've got this culture and this identity that they're really trying to recreate there, and obviously you got to do it with the quarterback first and foremost, and it seems like Drake's like his kind of guy when it comes to building that. But man, he's got them believing, and obviously they go and they knock off arguably the favorite in the AFC, the Buffalo Bills, at their place, early in the season. That's got to have them feeling, pretty good about where they are. But I know this, like, I figured the Giants might come in a little overconfident. I think our challenge this week is that, man, the Patriots aren't coming in overconfident. Like, Vrabel seems like one of those guys who's going to keep them humble, keep them hungry,
yep.
And like they're going to keep trying to build. Like, man, we're going to have to bring our absolute best, and it's going to be, to me, this is like one of those physical, like really, really physical type of games where, like, we got to win the fight before we win the game, like the old bat games that Sean Payton used to have. Like, to me, this is that type of game for the New Orleans Saints.